Hey everybody, welcome back to Piano Lessons with Elvin, episode 21. This will be a continuation of the How to Read sheet music series. The last few videos I've been slowly going through everything you need. And very soon we'll actually get learning how to read with both hands and going through, the first songs. With this video, I wanted to cover the most common terms and symbols you will see on the page and just explain them a bit, since it can get a bit overwhelming when you start to read because you constantly are exposed to new Italian term after new Italian term, this symbol, that symbol, these concepts on speed and time and how to play a note. So I thought I'd just kind of go through each of the main ones, describe them a bit, show a bit of context via two works. And yeah, it's been a bit, well, this is funny. Doesn't matter when you watch this. For me, I've just got done with Christmas break and New Year's 2024. So I've been on a bit of a break with these, but that's irrelevant because you could watch this at any moment. So I was going to say welcome back from break, but you could watch this in like 2030 in the summertime, or I guess you could even watch it when I'm dead. So yeah, so that's kind of weird. I'm sort of immortalized online. So if you're watching this and I'm dead, I suppose pour one out for me, will ya? Okay, so we'll get rocking here. I hope you guys enjoy this. Let me just grab the phone. Okay, so I wrote down here all of the main stuff. Some of this will be a bit redundant from some of the prior vids, but here we go. So we got the common symbols and terms. Most common, treble clef, which I did explain that before, aka G clef. And it's called G clef because in this belly is where G lies, hence why it also looks like kind of a cursive G. Then the main other one, bass clef, aka F clef, called F clef because between the two dots is an F. And I go into more detail with that in the prior vids, so please check that out. Then I kind of wrote a bit of a key here, where here's the clef. In this space here, which I haven't made a video on, is what we would call a key signature. You can think about it more or less as a filter, like an Instagram filter or whatever, where a piece of music is filtered through a key signature, which are these certain rules, which would say certain notes are sharp, certain notes are flat, and then you just apply that filter for the whole piece. So if a composer constantly wants, I wrote here a F sharp, which is the key of G major. That doesn't matter too much. But in this piece, let's say the composer wants F to always be sharped. It's annoying for him to constantly have to rewrite it, so he puts it at the beginning, and then it's just a rule or filter you apply for the whole work. That's called a key signature. Then we have a time signature. The prior video was on that, telling you how many beats are in a measure, and then music is divided up by measures to keep track of everything and to create great visual cues. So refer to the other video for that one. And then we got tempo here, which is just time, the speed of music. And it will always occur at the very beginning of a song on the top left, always at the outset, because you need to know how fast to go before playing it. And here are the most common tempos you'll see, plural tempi, when you first start. Allegro, fast, a more exact definition would be lively, but we always think fast. Moderato, this one's crazy, moderate, or medium. Andante, the best translation we have from the Italian, often you'll encounter in most books, walking speed, kind of slow. And then we have adagio, or slow. There's some people will interpret adagio as very slow. There's for sure much more. There's lento, allegretto, vivace, presto. There's all sorts of tempos, but these are the main ones you'll see from the beginning. You won't even really see adagio. You'll mostly see these top three when you're doing the beginner works. And then we have ways to manipulate the volume. I'll just kind of go down this list. We have what we would call a crescendo, sometimes abbreviated as krish. And it just starts here, and I love this shape because it implies what we do very well. You start quiet and you go, ah! And then a diminuendo, abbreviated as dim, or you can also call it decrescendo. Some people prefer decrescendo. It doesn't matter. I first learned it as diminuendo, so that's what I go to. Synonyms here. And then this is So these symbols I like. They're pretty straightforward to understand. And we have two ways to these are kind of the two main ways to manipulate the volume level, just like a volume knob on music. Then we have this one term, retardando, abbreviated as RIT, to slow down, to retard the music. I know that's like a evil word, but if we just think about the definition, sans, that stuff, just to slow down. And you'll see this very often at the end of songs, to slow down, because that's the common thing. You got to apply the brakes when you're coming into a red light, okay? So, then I have this term here, articulation, which with articulation, that is going to be how you play a note. We'll read notes, which I did on some of the prior videos, the basic ways to read notes in treble and bass clef, that kind of stuff. But then there's how do you play a note? And there's four main ways. We have an accent, which is when you just punch a note, bam! Hey guys, how's it going? Like that. I'll show some examples of it. And that appears like this. You have a note above it. And I think that's maybe the greater than sign. I suck in math. And then we have a staccato, a short note, or hot is often when I teach it to a kid. I imagine that they think the keys are on fire, so you go, oh, ooh, ah, ah, when you play the note, and you just hit the key as short as possible, and that'll appear as a little dot above or below. Same with accents, above or below. That'll be according to stem direction. If stems are down, it's above. If stems are up, it's below. And wire stems up and down, that'll be a separate video. I'm just trying to address some of the more common terms, not all of the minutiae explanations. Then we have what we call a tenuto, which some will say you hold the note for its full value. Oftentimes, it's a slight stress. Instead of a punch, think of a slap or maybe a little push. So I like to think about it as a, hey guys, how are you doing? Instead of, hey guys, how are you doing? And that will appear with like a dash above a note. Then the opposite of staccato, as hot and short as possible, we have legato, to play smooth as possible between notes. Hey guys, how are you doing? Staccato. Hey guys, how are you doing? Like you're drunk. So that would be smooth playing. Legato. Sometimes with students, I'll say maybe they can think of the cat or something, gato. Which I don't know why that's smooth. I guess cats are pretty smooth, classy. They're silent. So I guess that works. And these are also known as slurs. And when we get more advanced, we refer to them as phrases. You'll end up thinking of, when you see big little hills like this, as phrases, which is a musical sentence. That's more advanced. So most now at the beginning, when you see these little curvy lines, they tell you to play legato smoothly, and we lots of times will call them slurs. When they go over a bunch of notes, we say, hey, look at this slur. It tells you to play legato. And I did want to preface, because very early on when you learn music, you'll encounter a tie, which looks almost exactly the same. Curvy line, curvy line. The main difference is on a tie, it ties the same note. It always needs to be the same note, and it just ties the value to each other. So quarter note is 1, quarter note is 1. You tie them together, 1 plus 1 is 2. Half note is 2 beats, tie to a quarter note, 2 plus 1, 3. A bit of musical math for you. Whereas here, this would be a slur, because it's over a different note. So that's the biggest thing. A tie needs to be same note to add the value. Slurs, which tell you to play legato, or over several different notes. Just to keep that in mind, making sure I didn't miss anything so far. Sorry if this phone gets out of focus. And then we have the main dynamic volume markings here. So we have ways to manipulate the volume with crescendo, diminuendo. Then we have the main markings. P for piano, soft or quiet. Mezzo piano, MP, medium soft. MF, mezzo forte, medium loud. Mezzo, you could think of as meaning medium. There's mezzo soprano. Sopranos are the highest female singers. Well, there's, I think, some that can go way higher, but let's just think sopranos are high. Mezzo sopranos are kind of high. So like girls that sing a bit lower. And then we have forte for loud. Forte, I think, technically means strong, and this translates to loud. There's a few other ones that you'll see down the road. Fortissimo, 2 Fs. Fortissimo, 3 Fs, very loud, very, very loud. Pianissimo, 2 Ps. Pianissimo, 3 Ps, very, very soft. You could think of EC meaning very in that. So you get fortissimo, and that's like, very, 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 very loud. Whatever the case may be here. So yeah, and if you wanted to, I know my handwriting completely blows, but if you wanted a little screenshot on this as a bit of a cheat sheet on the main stuff you'll encounter, I may have missed some small things. I was going to write the main types of notes, whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, but I'll do that as a separate thing here. I mostly wanted to talk about the terms you get exposed to and some of the main symbols, which I think I gave you a pretty good one. I know I'm missing all of the types of rests and all of the types of notes, things like that. Don't worry, plenty of videos to go. So I wanted to show you the context in some songs here. So this is a really beautiful Bach partita I'm learning, number 6. I recommend you listen to the Glenn Gould recording. Was a big influence on me growing up. But we see here, this is grave, I think maybe in Italian it's grave. But there's the tempo right at the beginning. Like I said, here's the clef, treble clef, bass clef, that key signature telling you one note is always sharp, in this case F, so the filter will tell you anytime you see an F, make it sharp. Here's a time signature. This one is what you would call cut time. It's okay if you don't quite get that. But so we have grave, which is very slow. Like you're in the grave, you're dead, so you're not worried about time. And you see even the marking there, it says like 66 beats a minute. So it's almost like a beat per second, which is pretty slow. 1,000, 2, 1,000, pretty slow song. So there we have the clefs, the key signature, the time signature, the tempo. Then immediately we get the dynamic marking telling you to play fortissimo, very loud. We get the slur marking here. Notice that curve over different notes to tell you to play smooth. Here's a slur here, same thing. Play all of these notes here smooth. Then we get more slurs. We get mezzo forte. There's that medium loud. If we pan out a bit, we get mezzo forte again. Here we get the crescendo, and he wants you to get from medium loud, mezzo forte, to forte loud. Whoa! And then right afterwards, a little bit of a diminuendo or decrescendo to get quieter. So he wants you to go from this forte down a bit, getting quieter, to the piano. So hence here, forte loud, shrink diminuendo to P piano. And then if we look close here, we get the slurs again, play these notes smooth, then we get this little dot. There's that staccato note. So you'll play a few notes smooth, then that one short, that one hot, that one staccato. I'll show these, I'll play a bit of this here so you can see it in context. Yeah, and you get lots of these symbols here. There's a crescendo written out. It's kind of random. Sometimes Bach, draws the actual symbols. Sometimes he just writes a full word. That's common. We see here, rit, short for ritardando, so he wants you to slow it down in this instance here. And I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to see any accent markings. And if we don't see any accents on this one, I'm going to pull up a different. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is nice. There's what an accent would look like. And I want to show you this Bach partita so you can see that these symbols apply all the time in its very advanced works like this partita. Or I'm pulling up a kid's method books. I enjoy these ones, these Nuna. Sorry, a little reflection. Nuna method books here. They don't baby you too much. Some beginner method books have way too many pictures and all that stuff, and it takes forever to make any growth. But so here's a little piece by Robert Schumann, one of the nice ones. And you can kind of see some of these same symbols. P for piano. FP, I didn't write this one down, but that means forte piano. Sounds contradictory. Loud, soft. Like what? And that usually means, well, not you. It means first note is loud, then immediately you play the next thing quiet. And we see the slurs again here. We got the clefs, we got the key signature, the time signature, 2 beats in a measure. Quarter note gets the beat, which that bottom 4 means. We see, once again, all of these slurs to tell you to play smooth. We get the accents here. We see the staccato, to play short, diminuendo. So we see all of those main things here. Yeah, there's a crush written out. We see the diminuendo there. So you can see that we encounter most of those symbols I brought up. We're seeing in this context here. And then just so you can hear me play some of these aspects, I'm going to particularly play the left hand here, because this is a nice demonstration of the difference between legato and staccato. And yeah, and feel free to try to, here's the left hand, so smooth, hot, smooth, hot, smooth. You know, so you can hear it with all of that stuff there. And then with, yeah, I mean, if I'll have to have a third arm to play this, I'll just need to find a way to prop it up. But yeah, I hope that helped with lots of the main terms. When I teach these main terms, it can be a bit overwhelming. For students, I try to taper it, because if we're just getting into sight reading and reading music and they learn, you know, 15 terms on one day, especially if they're young, it's just too much. So sometimes I'll, on purpose, ignore some of these terms, because it's not as important. To me, the most important thing is understanding just the basics of how can you even read the note before learning the volume, speed, how to play it. That's all down the road from being able to just read. So, but I wanted to make a video on this so you can always refer back to it. And I'm sure I've missed some stuff, which I'll be doing in the next vid. I'm going to be doing a bunch of vids. So I hope this was helpful. And I appreciate all of you guys. And I hope you have a great day whenever you're watching this. Okay, cheers. Thanks.